Alright, moving on in my ABC review series, we had the letter B. Hold on. Why would I say number? Letter B, Big Trouble in Little China. Starring Kurt Russell, Kim Cattrall, and Dennis Dunn. Not to be confused with Kevin Dunn, the guy with the big teeth who hits the bad buttons on the programming on the WWE there. But, yes, it's basically about a guy who wants to get his truck back. That's the main story. Jack Burton, played by Kurt Russell. He comes to Chinatown in San Francisco, and he's playing, he's making bets with his friend Wang. He's making bets with his Wang. And he's going to leave. Stuff happened. There's this war between these two gangs. There's James Hong shows up. He plays the character Lo Pan. He's like, making magic stuff. There's these guys with wicker baskets on their heads throwing lightning. One thing I can think of is that, without the effects, you got these two guys. You got this guy with wicker basket on his head just going, whoa. Whoa, just imagine that. Without the effects, it probably looks silly. Just saying. But yes, they're forced to run, and they lose his truck. I should mention they do travel to pick up Wang's girlfriend, fiance. She gets kidnapped and then the truck gets taken, but they brush over the girlfriend thing so fast, and then the whole thing is about he's got to get his girlfriend back. Jack only cares about getting the truck back, because that's what he is. The old Pork Chop Express, he calls it. And, yeah, that's the main plot line. Victor Wong is in this. Victor Wong? The grandpa from Three Ninjas, he's in this. And he plays Egg Shen. And he can, it's really weird. Something? It starts with him telling the story, but then it doesn't go back to that. It starts when he's telling the cops the story of what happened, but it never goes back to that at the end. At all. Some framing device. But, yeah. He gets batshit insanity by the end of this, and you could say that he made up this story, Egg Shen did. And all the wild stuff that happens, but who knows? So yeah, they gotta get the girl back from Lo Pan. And they say his real name is David Lo Pan. You could have just kept the David out, because all I can think of is a bad guy named Dave, and it's not scary. Come on. But yes, Kim Cattrall is here as a lawyer named Gracie Law. Little on the nose there, Carpenter. Just a little bit on the nose. Ow. Bruise on my nose. That hurt. A little on the nose there. Gracie Law. She's a lawyer. And she's protecting some other Chinese chick who doesn't really have anything to do with the plot, but they gotta have her coming in the same time as Miao Yin, which is the girl's name, and coincidentally she is also there, so that's how she's brought into this. And you really didn't need her to be there, because she could have showed up anyway, saying that she's trying to help, and then she gets taken in because she also has green eyes, because apparently Lo Pan has to marry and sacrifice a woman with green eyes to become mortal. But the part I'm missing here is, why does he want to become mortal? He looks like an old man. And I'm like, oh, so he wants to be immortal, then he wants to be mortal. I'm like, well, why does he look like a weird old man then? I don't understand this. And he wants to become mortal. Why would you want to become mortal? You could die. And spoiler alert, that's exactly what happens right after he becomes mortal. So what was the point of him becoming mortal? It makes no sense. But, yeah. Jack Burton is what you would call a reluctant hero. He just wants his truck back, and he's thrust into this. Complains about everything. He's kind of like Ash from the Evil Dead movies, but like supposedly, like they know each other. So supposedly he took stuff from Evil Dead 2, and then Bruce Campbell in turn took stuff from him for Army of Darkness, which came out a few years after this. Makes sense, and then I didn't think about it. He is sort of a Ash Williams sort of character, reluctant hero type guy, and yeah, he has this cool tank top he wears for most of the thing, and I like tank tops, so that's cool. But yeah, I love martial arts stuff. I liked most of the fighting stuff in this, except for like during the climax fight or whatever. Like Dennis Dunn and this other guy were doing this jump spinning fights, and I don't understand. Like they jump up like they're gonna fight each other, and then it swirls really close up to the camera, so you don't really see anything. And it's like, what is going on? I don't know. This was John Carpenter had a string of movies in the 80s where they would come out and critics would pan them, people wouldn't care for them, and then later they become, cult classics like The Thing, and even to an extent Prince of Darkness. They came out in the 80s and no one really cared, and then this came out and no one really cared, and now it's a cult classic, and this is one of the most batshit movies I've ever seen. It just goes to prove that John Carpenter, he can do it all. Horror, action comedy, he can do it all. So, yeah, Jack Burton, he plays with everything. What is this? It's salt water? What? Let me guess, it only goes down? It's like, okay. But wait a minute. The elevator only goes down, but he and Gracie get in the elevator at the end that goes up to the office. Huh? That only goes down. Well, I guess if it only goes down, but it can go back up, I guess, but I don't know. Maybe it's a different elevator. Who knows? I like James Hong as the villain. He's supposed to be kind of weird, and I like that. And here's something. So Eggshed brings this stuff that they drink that's supposed to give them see things that normal people can't see. Nothing ever goes anywhere with that. I thought it was going to be a placebo to build up Jack's confidence. Never comes back. He mentions it once when he's in the elevator with Kim Cattrall, but he's like, I took this stuff, see, and it's going to help me see things that no one else can see. And it just, like, there's nothing, like, I thought it would come back at the end, like, hey, can I get some more of that stuff? And he'd be like, oh, it was just foamy water or something, like Space Jam, which came out after this, but, ow, hit my hand on the table. Like, it never comes back. It's really weird, but it never comes back, so who knows? But yeah, very funny, Doug. Very funny. I lost my train of thought. Right. So he decides he's going to marry both these women. That way he could sacrifice one and keep the other. He plans on sacrificing Gracie and keeping Miao Yin. Right? So then why does he keep going after Miao Yin? Maybe he's still got to take the thing from her, but I don't know. But yeah, he becomes human. We get the one-liner. I can't help but wonder what old Jack Burton would say at a time like this. Who? Jack Burton. Me. I guess it's more than one line, but you get that line there. And then that's before, when they're down there. Jack is, like, Jack Burton's not the main character of the movie. He's sort of a side character because it's really Wang's quest. Jack is incompetent in every single way possible. He's always getting knocked down. He shoots the ceiling and it falls down and hits him in the head and knocks him out for a few minutes. He fights this guy and he has a knife in his foot, so when the guy comes down, it stabs him, but then he can't get the guy off of him. He's incompetent, you know? He can't throw a knife, but then he catches it and throws it back and kills Lo Pan. Yeah, that's how Lo Pan dies, by the way. He's one of those reluctant, incompetent hero types that you see in movies. But I think it works, especially with Kurt Russell. The only other actor, ironically, it probably could work with is Bruce Campbell. So, who knows? But, yeah, just, not bad. And then we get, there's some weird stuff in here. There's this weird monster thing. I'm going to point this out. They're getting ready to leave, right? They're going to leave. And Kim Cattrall is standing there. Door opens, and as soon as the door opens, she's like, huh? And she just stands there. It's like, no, the door opens, you walk faster. No, she's got to get captured so he can try to marry both of them. Okay, and then Jack has to have another reason to go back, I guess. But yeah, that monster thing is weird. It looks like a Predator, but hairy. And this is before Predator came out. It's 2 years before, or a year before Predator. Predator came out in 1987, year I was born. But the year of my birth, as I say. But yeah, but the weirdest part of this movie, and it's weird all the way through, but the weirdest part is after Lo Pan is killed. I like to call him Chinese He-Man, because he's like really muscle and he gets really big when he's angry. He sees the Lo Pan is dead, and so he starts to do the real big thing. He's into big, but he blows up into this big fat thing and then goes poof and explodes. And it's like, what the fuck was that? There's so many what the fuck moments. Like this same guy, he like grabs Jack's gun and just goes poof, and makes it go poof. And it's like I literally yelled, "What the fuck? How the hell did you do that?" It's a gun. There's screws and stuff in it. How do you just make it go poof in your hand? This movie's weird. It's fun. It's fun. And of course, Jack gets his truck back. And yeah, he says goodbye. He doesn't kiss Gracie goodbye. Because he doesn't want to. Says goodbye. He gets his debt paid by Wang. Which is kind of why he was staying around. Because he needed his debts paid. Jack, you help me. I'll pay my debts. Nothing or double. Okay, I know you're Chinese. It's double or nothing. It sounds weird when you say it backwards, like saying Josh and Drake or Kel and Keenan or I don't know other things, but it just sounds weird, Yeah, and he leaves, and we get a quote unquote cliffhanger sequel bait. Because the monster is in the back of his truck. Were they planning on doing a sequel? I know this movie didn't do very well. There's a lot of Carpenter's movies didn't do that well in the 80s, but were they planning on it? I know that there's still talk of doing another one, but it's been 35, almost 36 years now, since 1986, coming up here. Who knows? But I actually enjoyed this film. I had a lot of fun with it. I'd have to say that when it comes to Big Little Trouble in Little China, it's pretty good. So that's it for the letter B. Next is C. And for that, we're going to visit Robert Downey Jr. and Anton Yelchin in a comedy from the mid-2000s. But until next time, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. For watching, I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.